the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the place that I call mine. It's a place I love best, 'cause it's better than the rest. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. There's lights that burn so brightly, in the northeast sky they shine. From the place that Geordies worship, where legends wear number 9. You can travel right round the world, even meet the Pope in Rome. But nothing beats the feeling of when you come back here to home. No matter how life changes, we'll never be far apart. The northeast always home, and it's always in your heart. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the place that I call mine.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to It's All Black and White TV. Brentford 1, Newcastle United 2. Come on, get in there. Yes, thank God for that. Come on. So, before we get into the show and get into any comments that's come flying in, if you like what you see, then please make sure you smash that like button. It takes 1 second to click the thumbs up. So please smash that like. Thank you very much indeed. It's much appreciated and helps the channel with search results. Also, if you are brand new to the channel, then please hit that subscribe. That is free to do so. It helps the channel grow. And bell notification tells you when I'm live, have a pre-record, or any upcoming shows. So thank you very much indeed. I'm currently on 471 subscribers. So I'm now only 29 away from 500. Brilliant. Thank you very much to everybody who has subscribed so far. And you know, if you want to share the channel out there, just share the channel out there and let everybody know. Thank you. That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much. So today we went to the Brentford Stadium and, see the G-Tech Community Stadium, in fact, and which was going to be a tough game all round. You know, we'd won 2 games off the spin. This was our chance to win another game, and you know, it wasn't an easy place to go to, let's be real about this. And so I'm going to get some comments first of all. So let's get to straight in the comments. Troll says, get in there, but how did they have it make it so nerve-wracking? Feel like I've run a mile. Feels like, hey, I tell you what, Trolls, never mind a mile. It feels like I've run a marathon today, not a mile. Hi, Tony and Rolly. Unfortunately, Rolly's not able to make it, but I'm here. But thank you very much, Charles. Hope you're well. Julie, good evening. Good evening to you. Hope you're well as well, Julie. Hi, all, says Paul. Hi to you, Paul. Hope you're well, mate. Pope. Absolutely, we'll get into that. Lee says, evening, Tony. What a result. Get in there, the Mighty Toon Army. Do you know what it is? It's absolutely fantastic. We're buzzing. We're buzzing. We're buzzing. Come on, man. We're buzzing. Andrew says, good evening. Good evening, Andrew. Hope you're well, mate. Troll says, I'm beat, to be honest, but what a turnaround. Do you know what? Absolutely, mate. Absolutely, what a turnaround. And, oh, God, honestly, I just, you know, buzzing. So, without further ado, let's get into the game, because this game, well, it had everything. They say a game of 2 halves. This was definitely a game of 2 halves for sure. So, first up, we saw Eddie Howe's team come out. The team lineups were announced, and there was a change or two. So out went Callum Wilson, and in come back Isak to start, which we thought would happen. ESM has got some hamstring trouble, so he went out. And in his place, well, Joe Willock came back into the team, so that meant Joe Linton went to the left. And Joe Willock went into the centre mid. And that was the changes we saw. Apart from that, everybody else who started against West Ham started the game. And so we thought, yeah, this is a great opportunity. Let's get into Brentford. But Um, you know, it was a funny game because they started off well, Brentford, then we tried to get into the game, but we just didn't get anything going. Even though we had the possession, we just couldn't get anything going. And then Brentford then get a penalty, 29 minutes into the game. They get a bottoming tackle on Shardy, and it was one of them. It was a penalty, and Ivan Toney stepped up to take the penalty. Well, before that penalty, we should talk about is they actually scored, Brentford, didn't they? Because Ivan Toney scored, but we forget all about that. But that was an offside goal, and he was offside anyway, so it was clearly offside. So it didn't matter. So his celebration was cut short. But yeah, going to the penalty, you thought, oh, this is great because Ivan Toney's got, he's pretty good at these penalties, to be fair. And he stepped up, tried to do his little routine, which he does, kicked it, and it was a very tame, and Pope was able just to go down and take it and say, do you know what? Thanks for giving me the ball back. That's a lovely pass. Thank you. And then we had chances where we could have got into the game and scored, but we didn't. And they then gets another penalty, which VAR seems to take an age to look over this penalty from Isak. So Isak goes in to go and try and get the ball. And I think it's Rico Henry who goes over in the box. But he's running in. So Isak can't see him coming. And when he does come, he's got his foot there. It's one of them. It's, to me, I didn't think it was a penalty. And VAR seemed to take an age to look over this penalty decision. And the longer it was going on, I think maybe they're just going to say this isn't a penalty because obviously they can't make their mind up, or they're going to send the referee then and say, look, we're not 100% sure. So they send Chris Kavanagh to the monitor. He looks at the monitor, has two glances and goes, oh, penalty. And I'm like, well, hang on a minute. Hang on. How's it took Darren England at Stockley Park like nearly 5 minutes to look through a decision, and yet you've got the monitor had two glances and said, oh, yeah, it's a penalty. What's the difference, you know? And they scored from that penalty. And obviously we went in half-time 1-0 down. And deservedly so 1-0 down at half-time because literally we did not play well in that game, in that first half. And I was kind of thinking, right, Eddie Howe, get into these players at half-time and get them sorted out, get them out in that second half and make sure we put on a performance. Even if it meant we came away with a point, at least let's see something different in the second half. Let's see some fight. Because we weren't really pressing much. The intensity wasn't as much there. So we wanted to see more from them. So Eddie Howe, at the start of the second half, we saw Callum Wilson and Gordon coming on. We're thinking, oh, okay, well, this is positive change. And I thought, oh, well, does this mean Isak going off? But it was Murphy and Longstaff went off. So I was a bit surprised by that. And I thought, well, okay, that's good because we've got a bit of pace with Gordon down the wing and Callum Wilson up front with Isak. Great, because lovely to see them two combine and play together. And so within 9 minutes of the restart of the second half, we pulls the goal back and brings it level. Joe Linton shot through the legs of David Raya. And to be fair, yes, because it came off Raya, it's classed as an own goal, even though it was on target, but because it actually was a big deflection off Raya, they do class that as an own goal. And so I thought, okay, fair enough. But then we just seemed to be pressing in that game, and then we just kept going. And then 61 minutes, Wilson's got the ball. Nice pass into the path of Alexander Isak. And what a beautiful finish from Isak into the corner. No chance for David Raya whatsoever. It was a quality strike from Isak. Again, Isak's on fire. Since he's got back in that team and starting games, he's been on fire, Isak. And again, he scored another goal. Now got 8 goals in 13 games. You know, what a terrific strike rate he's got now. And he's starting to look a really, really great player, Isak. He just looks up for it now. And he's proven that that £63 million might end up being a snip. And, he's only 23 and he's got a long way to go in the game yet. But this kid's going to get better and better and better. Then obviously Wilson had a goal chalked off. Again, another lengthy VAR check for Callum Wilson. But to me, it seemed to hit the top of his arm, which I thought up there is not a penalty, is not a disallowed goal because it's not handball. But they claimed to hit further down. But you couldn't really tell on the angles with the VAR, so you couldn't really see much. But I thought it was harsh that one was chalked off. I think if Wilson had got that goal, at 3-1 up, I think we would have just gone on and won that game maybe 4-5-1 even. Because I certainly think we would have scored more goals. Yes, we had a nervy end to that game because obviously Brentford were throwing the kitchen sink at it, were throwing everything at it. Pope made a terrific save from Ivan Toney because he had that header. But the way it was a terrific save from Pope. It wasn't the fact he just pushed it out into the Brentford players' path. He pushed out and made sure that the defence got it cleared, because you do not want to give the Brentford players a second bite at the cherry. So that was brilliantly saved by Pope. I thought we controlled that second half quite well. We had chances to score. Elliot Anderson should have scored near the end. How he missed that, I do not know. And I'm still like, Elliot, you should have put that in the back of the net. He should have buried it. He's probably come off that pitch thinking, do you know what? I've missed my opportunity to have a goal here. And but you know what? It's a terrific performance, because the second half, we won that game second half. We controlled that game second half. We played absolutely brilliant in that second half. We showed our pressing and intensity game that we've been playing all season. And those two tweaks, those two subs that he made at the start of the second half won us that game. And I tell you what, Eddie Howe, that is terrific for what you've done, because that's how you earn your corn as a manager. That's how you earn your money as a manager. You have gone out there and you have made a change. You've made two changes. Right, okay, let's put these two on to start the second half. Let's see if we can get back in the game. Not only have we got back in the game, we've won the game. We've got the 3 points. We're back in third in the table. And we are now throwing the gauntlet down to everybody. We are here. We are going nowhere. We are competing. And I tell you what, Eddie Howe deserves all the plaudits that anybody comes his way. I saw a tweet earlier on from I think it's an American company or whatever. They've got Marco Silva in there as manager of the year along with others. But Eddie Howe's not in that list. Why is Eddie Howe not in that list? Eddie Howe is a terrific manager. He's proved he's a terrific manager. Look at what he's done this afternoon. Putting them two subs on at half time. What a masterstroke. What a masterstroke. Because I tell you what, if he didn't make that double change then, we may well not have won this game. So, big up to Eddie Howe for that one. And I've got my guest in, so I'll just bring him in. Here's Pete.
Tony?
Well.
Oh, hi.
I mean, Pete, I'm just saying that, I think Eddie Howe's earned his money because that double change, that was a masterstroke in my eyes, because that's won us that game.
Yes, it is. Absolutely it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, what's your thoughts on Callum Wilson's disallowed goal? Do you think that was handball? Because I thought it was above the sleeve.
It looked like it, didn't it? But I think VR's had an absolute clusterfuck of the day as well.
I mean, what I can't understand is, Pete, especially for that penalty that they got, the second penalty, VAR took so long to look over that decision. And Darren England wasn't sure, so he sent Chris Kavanagh the monitor. He looked at it twice and then come back and said penalty. So hang on. So how can Darren England at Stockley Park not be sure if it's a penalty or not, but it having about nearly 5 minutes at looking at it? But Chris Kavanagh goes, the monitor has two glances and says penalty. What's going on there? Is that a conspiracy?
God. You'd like to know what it is, because these referees couldn't organise a drink up in a brewery.
They couldn't. They couldn't piss up in a brewery. Absolutely not. But I'm just glad we got the game won, which is the main thing at the end of the day, because we needed to win that game. And just thankfully we got the win. But I mean, Isak again, he's coming up with the guts. He's scoring for fun at the minute, isn't he?
He is, isn't he? He really, really is, Tony.
I'm going to go to some comments here because I've got a lot of comments flying in, and so I'll just get to these comments and right, find where I was. Lee says VAR was a joke today. Yes, it was, Lee. Absolutely, mate. It was an absolute joke. Gary says Forest now in the bottom three, Tony. They are on goal difference as well. But that could change because if Everton get this points deduction this season, they will go down. I don't know what's happening at the minute. Man City are 1-0 up, so Southampton are on their way down.
Yeah, they are.
Julie says VAR and referees equals corruption. It does, doesn't it? Yes, it stinks of it. And I'm glad we won that game.
VR should stand for Video Assistant Rubbish.
The thing is, it's not the system. It's the people who are operating.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like me or you saying, "Oh, you you make a mistake on your computer and you go, oh, it's the computer's fault," but it's not. It's the person operating the computer that's at fault, not the computer, because you've got to input the information to have made that mistake. Do you know what I mean? So it's the same with VAR. Alan says, great win. Eddie sorted at half time. We were poor first half. Yep, game of two halves, absolutely. Lee said, looked like they'd changed to 4-4-2 at half time. Said that ages ago. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, it was definitely a game of two halves.
Yeah, it was.
Game of two halves, yeah. Rollies, yeah, I'll just bring him in while I go through comments. Longer they take, seem to favour the penalty. Well, that's it. It just took too long in my eyes, and I'm going to get Rolly's take on this as well shortly once I get through some of these comments, because we're well behind on the comments. Don't think we had a shot at goal first half. Alan, we didn't, mate, not at all. We didn't do a lot in that first half, to be all. I thought we were poor. Sefton, E-I-E-I-E-I, up the Premiership we go. Evening chat. Happy Toon Easter, everyone. Yeah, happy Toon Easter. Craig says, anyhow, take a bow, recognise the problems, change the formation on the players. That is the sign of a good manager, because when you change the formation and you bring on a couple of players in the second half at the start of it, that just shows you Eddie Howe doesn't just play with the one system, he's got other systems to play.
Yeah.
And I just say, well done, Eddie Howe. Craig says, should have put it to bed multiple times in the second half. Absolutely. Definitely, Craig. Even Elliot Anderson should have scored near the end. Alan says, that win could be very important with Tottenham undeservedly beating Brighton and Man U are winning.
Oh,
absolutely.
I think Brighton have been absolutely robbed today from what I've been hearing.
Yeah. And Tottenham's manager, I don't think will be on the touchline against Newcastle because he got a red card today. Christian Stellini, so got red carded. So that'll be a few games for him out of action. Ashington says they are really trying their hardest to stop us. They can try as much as they want, Ashington, but they ain't going to stop us. You know, it's like that old song, ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. Clear and obvious, says Craig. Well, yeah. Where is it clear and obvious on that second penalty? I'm still trying to work that one out. Ashington said, a pen for Isak seemed a bit daft. Well, that's what I thought. I couldn't believe it. I mean, the one they gave against him. Yeah, absolutely, Ashington. I mean, that penalty against Isak, he couldn't see that player coming anyway, and all he was doing, he was just putting his foot out for the ball, which is what you do in a natural reaction. But we're going to get into that in a moment because I'm going to ask Rolly for his thoughts anyway soon. Gets really tense at the end. Yes, it did. And he says it should have been 3-0 in my eyes. Yeah, I mean, we could have been 3 down at half time, to be fair. We would have been 2 down if Tony had put his 2 penalties away. He put 1 away, but, you know. Joe says, great game today. We are doing amazing. Absolutely, Joe. Ashington says, how's Ten Hag in that list? I saw it as well. He's a massive he has a massive price squad. That's the thing. I don't know. How does Eddie Howe not even make that list? It's not an official list anyway, so I'm sure there'll be an official list comes out. Mighty Mag says, evening trolls, Tony. Well, what a game. Yeah, absolutely. What a game. Alan says, I'm not criticising Eddie, but why did he take Gordon off the dime mints and bring Richie on? Gordon didn't look happy, or am I reading too much into it? But great subs to start the second half. Yeah, Gordon didn't look very happy about being taken off. I'm not sure. Maybe Eddie didn't want him to risk getting an injury or something like that. Maybe he just wanted to give him minutes because remember he's just come back from an ankle injury. So maybe it was a precaution. Maybe to wind the clock down as well. To run the clock down, get Matt Ritchie on. Matt Ritchie didn't even touch the ball when he came on. That's how much there was left in the game. Ashton says, I call it a miracle. Yeah, because Eddie walks on water, that's why. Eddie's Jesus. Tomorrow's Easter, but Eddie's Jesus, the second coming. Pete says, Sefton. Andrew says, no, it's double trouble again. Lee says, you're all right, Pete. He says, get in there, the mighty Toon Army. Hi, Sefton. Says Trolls. Ashton says they're trying hard to get us to lose. Pretty easy to notice. Absolutely. If we put the ball in the back of the net and we don't need VAR, we haven't got no worries. Had to change something at half time, says Alan. Yeah, he did, definitely. Hi, Tony P. Dino says coffee. Hi, coffee. Chipper says the officials were an effing joke. Just because we won means they shouldn't get away with it. Absolutely, Chippers. I totally agree, mate. They were a disgrace. Ashton says, Isak yellow card was ridiculous. Yeah, because he didn't know if he was being subbed or not. He couldn't see the board properly. I mean, the sun's bleeding on it. How's he supposed to see it? And yeah, the referee, and this is a referee that Mitrovic got banned for pushing. Sefton says, what's the team we call United? Who's that team we call United? Who's that team we all adore? Absolutely, Sefton. Ashton says, ever notice when other teams get a bit closer to our box, the refs start cheating? Yeah, we have noticed that a lot. Yeah, we've seen that quite a bit. It's not because we've got black and white blinkers on, it's because we know. Ashton says they are determined for us to lose. Coffee says VAR stands for Video Assisted Robbery. Lee says Breaking Ryan Fraser has been asked to start in Lord of the Rings series being a new Hobbit. I love it. Troll says, yeah, Lee really has a hairy toes for it as well. Lee says, you all right, Rolly? Getting there, the mighty Toon Army.
Hi, Lee.
Peter Tyson, if it takes you that long to decide if it is or isn't, then it's not a penalty. That's my point exactly, Peter. If it took them that long, but it took Chris Kavanagh 2 glances, I just find that bizarre. Paul says Brighton were very unlucky not to beat Spuds as well. They were, weren't they?
Oh.
Chipper says, also, how was there only 3 minutes at the end of the first half when it took over 5 minutes for the VAR decision? That's my point. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. Jake says they've done it for Sexy Mag. Oh, Sefton will be loving this. Jack, Isak is phenomenal. Do you know what it is, Jack? He's absolutely brilliant, isn't he? And this guy's just going to get better and better, Jack. And the thing is, that goal he scored, what a goal that was. And yeah, he could have had another, but Raya saved it. But, I'm just thinking once the season's finished and he's got a full pre-season with Eddie, what's he going to be like next season? Yeah. He's going to bang about 20-odd goals at least. Troll says, no caps, please.
Oh.
That's fine. He's just got excited for Sefton Mag. Jack says, VAR's a joke. I was fuming. Do you know what, Jack? I was absolutely fuming at VAR. I think they're a disgrace today. And yeah, we are going to get into that as well because, it's just, I'm just absolutely gutted with the way VAR's gone on today. Hi, Rolly says, Sefton.
Hi, Sefton.
Gary says, yes, on the move in the right direction, lads. Absolutely. Julie says, hi, Rolly as well. Coffee says, VAR decisions take so long sometimes you could send a carrier pigeon and it would still reach before time. Yeah, absolutely. Ashton says, anyone noticing the game against Man U? Fernandez kicked Isak near the armpit, almost kicked Gordon in the face, and kicked Shaw in the head. And I think, yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, absolutely. He should have been red carded, I thought.
Yeah, they get away with that.
Troll says, Howe knows what he's doing, so shouldn't worry about Gordon being subbed, absolutely. Gary says, we would have been 3 down if the cabbage had still been in charge. Well, yeah, we would have been out of sight, wouldn't we? Paul says, I had us to beat West Ham and Brighton and draw with Villa in these 3 away games. So that's not bad, is it?
I think we can do that.
Yeah, we can. Sefton says, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and hit that notification for future shows. How are you, the lads? Thank you very much indeed, Sefton. Tanji says, Gordon was taken off because he was giving away too many free kicks. Yeah, he was giving away a few fouls, wasn't he? Brentford, says Paul. Tanji says, 5 in a row. Come on, the mighty Mags. Absolutely. Can you sue VAR? Brighton and Newcastle are owed points. Well, yeah. I wonder if they'll get an apology. I've not seen the Brighton incident, but I will check it out. Ashton says, who got man of the match? Alexander Isak on Sky. Sky gave him the man of the match. Ashton says, shame got Maxi.
To Nick Pope, because it kept us in the game. That penalty save.
Ashton said, also shame Maxi's injured again. Yeah. Tanji says, once again, the qualified referee in the VAR room couldn't decide if it was a penalty. Yep, absolutely. By the way, Darren England was referee yesterday between Millwall and Luton Town. Ashton said, some of them commentators do my head in. They were in love with Brentford the way they go on. Oh, them commentators, yeah. The commentator we had was Seb Hutchinson, again, who was the commentator for the West Ham game on the Wednesday, and then he was commentating the women's final game at Wembley on the Thursday. This guy must be making some money. And I don't know who the woman was, but she was terrible as well. She was so biased. Foxy said, awful first half. Credit to Howe for making the changes at half time. Murphy was atrocious. He was non-existent, was he? Julie says that
atrocious, but he wasn't as good as he has been.
No. Julie says that told which way to give the decision. Yeah. That referee definitely needs sack, says Ashton. Andrew says, I thought VAR was an anchor of shites, tosspots, refs. Foxy says, first defeat for Brentford at home since September, so you can see why teams struggle against them. Yeah, absolutely. Foxy said it. It was a hard place to go to. I can't believe Villa are 6, says Julie. They've done well under Emery.
Yeah.
Hope ESM is fit for the Villa game. Julie says, man the match is Isak. Paul says Villa will move back down once Brighton and Liverpool play the games in hand. Well, that's it. Yeah, they've got games in hand, so Villa won't be up there for long. Davey, evening, Tony, Pete and Rolly. Good evening, Davey. Hope you're well, mate.
Well, Davey.
Clarky, yes, boys. Yes, Clarky, absolutely, mate. Brilliant, innit? Villa game's going to be tough, says Tanji.
Yeah.
And yeah, in a Birmingham hotel bar, so just popping in with a like and a comment. Lovely, Clarky. Thank you very much. And I hope you have a good time down there. Have a good evening, everyone. You too, mate. Lee says, refs should be playing Sunday League football. Yeah. Villa got lucky against Leicester. One man sent off for Leicester and they stupidly gifted a goal near the end. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Rolly, I've asked Pete about this as well. I'm going to come to you. Now, the VAR decision for the penalty in injury time. Now, that corner, it comes over. Isak attempts to clear the ball and Henry goes over him. Now, to me, that looked like more of an accidental crash than it was actually a vicious tackle from Isak. Now, VAR took up to 5 minutes to look at that decision and then eventually said to Chris Kavanagh, I'll go and have a look at the monitor. And he goes to the monitor, has a couple of glances, okay, comes back, penalty. Right, hang on. Well, hang on, how have you done it within 30 seconds, but your mate down in Stockley Park, Darren England, can't decide after 5 minutes if it's a penalty or not? I mean, what's your thoughts on that, Rolly? Was it a penalty or should it have not been?
It's one of those ones where Isak basically didn't see him coming, so he's going to try to clear the ball and the guy gets there first. Is it a penalty? I think if it was the other way around, I'd want a penalty. But I think with the ref going over and doing it in 2 looks, he's been told. He said, "Oh, this is why we think it's wrong. Just look for this," rather than looking at the whole incident. It's like the Willock one where the Stockley Park come over and said, "Look, it's clattered into the goalkeeper," and didn't show him that it got pushed. You can see. I forget the Brentford player. He more ran into Isak's leg rather than Isak swinging and kicking.
Rico Henry.
Rico Henry. I mean, it's great play by him. Is it a penalty? Probably, but they don't cover themselves in glory taking 5 minutes to look at it, and then the ref only taking 2 seconds. It's just, I think it's just a little bit clumsy by Isak. Just not thinking he's got more time than he has. I think, as I say, if it's the other way around, I'd want the penalty. So I don't have too many. I don't have too much concern about the actual decision. It's just the way they came to it. I mean, it can't take that long to decide whether it's a penalty or not. It can't. And if
Howard
Howard
Webber said that they can't overanalyze this thing. So why have they overanalyzed it then?
Yeah, that's the thing. The thing about it, the longer they look, it's almost like they're looking for something. It shouldn't take that long, because if it's taken them that long, they're not sure. And that's the whole point. So it's got to be clear and obvious. So if they're not sure and they're taking 5 minutes to come to the decision, it's almost like they've convinced themselves it's a penalty. I don't think anyone would have had any sort of like misgivings if they'd looked at it and 2 or 3 replays, and within a minute and a half, they called him over. Because that way you think, well, they've obviously seen something that's certain is a penalty, and they're showing the ref. But when you take 5 minutes, it's almost they're looking for a reason to give it, and they're buying themselves thinking time, so they've got something to tell the ref so it can give the penalty. I think that the more shocking decision was the Wilson one. Whether or not it hit his arm or its sleeves, but from the replay they showed me, before he scored, it came off a Brentford player. Now, I thought the rule was that if it's not deliberate handball, you can't directly play it into the net. But if it comes off someone else, you can. Well, it's come off the Brentford. It looked like it came off the Brentford player before he swiveled and turned and put it in. So that should have stood, in my eyes. I mean, I don't know why. What they do is say, "Oh, it's hit his arm." They don't look and see what happened after before he put the ball in the net. It's come off someone else. So it's not come off him directly into the goal. He's not controlled it and then scored himself. It's come off someone else. So it should have stood.
Well, to me, it looked like it came off. It came off the top part of Wilson's arm and not the bottom part. Yeah. So if it's above the sleeve, then that's not a handball.
That's what I thought. I thought it was high enough up his arm that it's above the sleeve, so it wasn't a handball. But even if you let them get away with that, when I saw the replay, I'm sure it came off the Brentford defender, because it went. The Brentford defender was behind him. It came off his arm, and if the Brentford defender wasn't there, it goes away from him, so he can't strike it.
Yeah,
it's the defender, so it should still be a live ball for Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to bring this up on screen. Obviously, Tangiers in our chats just DM me these pictures, and so I'm going to share the first. I'm going to put this one up. This is from today's game, and this is for the penalty, the second penalty, the Isak on Rico Henry. Now you can see it there now clearly. Now, Henry's trying to get in for that ball, but Isak's trying to put that ball away. If you look at it, Now you look at it from that angle. To me, that's not a penalty. I'm sorry, because Rico Henry's he's got his arm on Isak's leg there to try and get past.
I've
To
not
me,
seen
that's not
that.
that. Eh?
I've not seen
You
that
can't
angle.
see it.
No, I've not seen
But
that
yeah.
angle before.
Sorry, Ronnie. So
Like,
yeah, so
you didn't show
you
it on
look
the
at that.
replays.
No, so you look at that angle there. That to me is not a penalty. We have been done over yet again by VAR. That is not a penalty. If the referee sees that angle, he doesn't give that penalty because, so how comes VAR hasn't got this angle? And this is what really gets me,
I mean,
I really don't get it.
the biggest problem with VAR isn't VAR, it's the people that are actually at Stockley Park looking at it.
And that's last week's incident.
Yeah.
How did Bruno Fernandes get away with that?
Because he plays for Manchester United.
Aye.
I hadn't seen that angle of the Isak penalty because they didn't show it on the TV.
No, they didn't know.
One of my biggest problems with VAR is that when there's an incident like this, they only show the angle they want to show. They don't show the ref all the angles. That's like the disallowed goal we had against Crystal Palace. They only showed the referee the bit of Willett making contact with the keeper. They didn't show him the bit where he was actually pushed into the keeper. What's that?
That's remember that. A couple of seasons ago, Sean Longstaff, isn't it? That Burnley, I think, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, it's Burnley. I mean, that's poor, isn't it, as well? And he got away with that as well, didn't he? So, but it just goes to show, VAR is fit for purpose if the right people were running the system. That's the problem. The right people aren't running the system, and that's why.
I think part of the problem, again, is that they've had a change of leadership halfway through the season. Howe hasn't had time to actually get them to get their act together. Because when he first came in, they started to get a little bit better. And now they've slipped back into the ways they were doing it before the break. And so, they're only supposed to intervene in clear and obvious. Well,
yeah,
the referee didn't give a penalty. And again, it's not necessarily clear and obvious. And say the Wilson's goal, that was disallowed, that wasn't clear and obvious. And I think I also think that they've actually they've applied the rule wrong. Because I'm sure it came off the defender before Wilson actually scored. Because I remember that game against Liverpool a few seasons back, where we thought we'd equalise, where Wilson was through and it hit Alisson, it bounced up and hit his arm and went in. That was disallowed because of the rules. Now, Chelsea had one Havertz goal disallowed because it came off him and went directly into the net. Now, they changed the rules that if it's an accidental handball in the box, the player who handled the ball can't directly put the ball in the net and the goal stand. But it didn't because it came off the Brentford defender. It's a bit like the Anderson goal that's disallowed. When the defender plays it, it's back in play. You're not offside. It's the same thing. Once the defender's played it, it's like it's come off another player. So Wilson's within his rights to score.
Yeah,
I think some of these referees need to go back to school and learn the rules again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Pope made a big save for us as well in that second half. I mean, that was huge.
Tony's header.
Yeah. Jake says, should play Isak on the left and Wilson up front against Villa?
No, I don't necessarily think so. I think that we'll start off with our normal 4-3-3. He might start Gordon rather than Murphy on the right hand
don't
side.
know.
I thought Gordon was pretty decent.
Paul
Yeah,
says ESM, Wilson, Isak up top with Bruno, Willock, and Joe Linton in midfield. That's not a bad shout, is it?
that's a possibility.
Because we took Longstaff off him, you know. Maybe Longstaff's tired.
Man, he's played
I mean,
every game pretty much since he
yeah,
got into the starting lineup. He's played every
exactly.
game. Um,
Joel says, I'm
he
off.
didn't
Take
have his
care, all. Have a great evening. Good evening. Good night, Joel.
Take care,
Enjoy your
Jules.
evening, mate. Davey says there was no intention. Absolutely, Davey. It's robbery, but thankfully we won the game.
And
Tanji says we now have a full week off to recover after 3 games in 6 days and get 9 points as well.
yeah, that's good.
Oliver says amazing again. Effing amazing, absolutely. Come on, the tune, says Oliver. Yeah, absolutely, mate. It's amazing. Foxy says, I have no issues with the penalties. Both were clear for Brentford. Just worrying that it took so long with VAR. And Chipper
Second one
says,
wasn't.
no way the second was a penalty. Chip says Chipper has no
Still
chance.
undecided, but I mean, going back to Nick Pope and the penalties, I mean, for some reason, when they got the first penalty, I didn't think they were going to score. I just thought, oh,
Yeah,
especially as Pope stayed on his line, didn't move because Tony takes that one-step run, so he holds his leg back for ages, waiting for the keeper to go. And if they don't go, then he puts it in that side, and then didn't hit it very well, and Pope went down for it and got it.
yeah.
The second one, I thought he was going to score because I thought you can't give him 2 penalties and he's not going to score one. And Pope almost got a hand to that one as well.
I'm going to bring the Premier League table up shortly anyway. Davey says his arms were by his side, yeah. Tanji says, yeah, sent you 3 images of examples of 5 feet, Tony, on Twitter. Yep, I've just showed them, Tanji. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you, mate. Julie says, first one's a blatant penalty. Second one should never have been it. Just watched it, yeah. Liam Brown says, hi, Liam. He says, we are massive. We are massive shite first half, but still one sign of a good team. How are the lads? Absolutely. This is what I've said. If you don't play well as a team, but you still pick up results, that is the sign of a cracking team. That's how good teams win. I mean, George Graham, when he had Arsenal, when his teams used to win, boring sometimes, but they used to not play well, but win. Arsene Wenger, that invincible run when I think they won they went through and beaten 49 games. That, again, some of them games were absolutely dire. They probably should have lost some of them games, but they didn't, because that was a sign of a good team, and that's what it is. And you're absolutely spot on. Tanji says, yep, that was a huge win under the circumstances. Oh, definitely. And he said, Ashton said, it's hard to believe the ref isn't doing this to us on purpose. As soon as they see another team, they make a chance, they start fouling us all day. Foxy said, Henry's just clever. Isak wasn't aware of his surroundings in 2023. Any type of contact that goes to VAR will be a pen.
Yeah, I think he's right.
Liam says, took VAR forever to make a decision as well, but it goes to show it wasn't a clear and obvious foul. VAR is ruining football with its inconsistencies. You're absolutely spot on there, Liam. Can't agree more. Howie the lad says, Joe Linton was very good today. Isak and Wilson can't play together, and Isak has a brain and can drop into making defenders confused for Wilson to make hay. Do you know what it is? Isak's absolutely top class. The Brighton decisions were shockers of the day, says Foxy. That's finished them now. Howie the lads. Pope come out like a loon again.
Yeah, but he got the ball both times.
Yeah.
I don't mind it coming out if he gets the ball.
Yeah. Sefton says, how you hit that like button and subscribe to this great channel, how are the lads, and hit that bell for notification on future shows. Thank you very much indeed. Yes, please do hit those likes. Thank you very much. And it really does help the channel. Second one, clear. I think you're watching something else. Can't surely think that was a pen, says Ashton. Sefton, sexy mag. Sefton, that head's getting bigger. You're going to have to get your doors widened, mate. Liam says, plus, look at Wilson's handball. Arm is by his side and it was on his sleeve. They need to be more clear with the rules yet again. Consistency is worrying. It is, Liam. Absolutely. I mean, it's just getting ridiculous now. You know, in VAR, it's just become the laughing stock. But as I say, before you came in, Rowley, Tottenham's manager Christian Stellini will not be on the touchline against Newcastle United as he received a red card today. He got sent off by the referee. So apparently, I think just as the game started, him and De Zerbi were having a bit of a fight on the touchline as well. So don't know what's gone on. Obviously, two Italians probably don't like each other. Don't know what's happened there. But yeah, so looks like Stellini won't be on the touchline against Newcastle, so it'll have to be his coach and staff. We'll still pump Spurs anyway. If we don't get any VAR decisions against us. But I mean, Pete, I mean, your thoughts on today's game, the VAR decisions. I mean, you know, the Wilson one, do you think that was handball, Pete?
It's not intentional handball, is it?
No.
They need to sort this out, man, because, you don't give penalties for that, do you?
No.
I mean, VR's just getting worse and worse every game, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, the people running it are just making it worse and worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just getting to be a joke. You know, I mean, I'm going to share this now on screen, which Tanji sent me, and I mean, do you think Eddie Howe's starting to believe now? So there we go. That's a full time.
Yeah.
Do you think he's starting to believe?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's just absolutely brilliant, isn't it? It's nice to see a bit of about them. And this is the Brighton one. I mean, that's a penalty, isn't it?
That's Stonewaller.
Yeah, look, he's caught him. Now, if that was say Botman, that would be given as a penalty. If that was Share, that would be given as a penalty. Eh?
You only need one look at that to see that's a pen.
Exactly. We all know that's a penalty. It's just a case of, you know, they're trying to get Spurs back in the top four, aren't they? Because they don't want us up there. That's the thing. They don't want us up there. Liam says, Ivan Toney shouldn't be even playing football for his betting wonder if he had a fiver on himself to miss a pen today. Do you know what it is, though? I really, really can't stand the bloke. Yes, he's a good player. Yes, he's a good striker with the ball. He really has got an agenda against Newcastle. Just because Rafa Benitez didn't fancy him and got rid of him. Now, the thing is, with Ivan Toney is I just really can't stand him. I think he's too arrogant. I don't want to ever see him in the black and white shirt of Newcastle United. I wouldn't even want him at this club, even if he was on a free transfer. Because players like that we don't need at the club. One, I don't think you'd come to Newcastle anyway because I think he's too anti-Newcastle now, so I don't think you'd even entertain us in all honesty. But yes, he's done well for Brentford. He scored lots of goals for them. But I just think he's just too cocky and too arrogant, and that's not the sort of player that Eddie Howe wants in the dressing room.
No.
I think it's the attitude's the problem with
him. His attitude stinks.
Absolutely. He's a monumental bellender, in the words of Paul.
Absolutely, Pete. Julie says, makes you wonder, doesn't it? Sefton says, what's everyone's predicted final bottom three? Well, Sefton, I'll go on that one. Now, this is what I said. I mean, at the start of the season, I did say, before a ball was kicked, I did say Everton, Bournemouth and Leeds. But now I've changed my mind. So the bottom three that I still think will go down this season will be Southampton, Leicester and Everton. That is the three I think is going to go. I think Forest will just manage to stay up somehow, but I think that will be the bottom three. I think Everton will go because once this inquiry is sorted out and they get that points deduction, they'll be bottom of the table. Pete, who's your three to go down?
Southampton, I think Leicester are going to be in there now by the looks of it. I mean, to point Jesse March as the next manager, I mean, oh, good grief. And,
Yeah.
oh. I think I'm going to go back to Everton because, if they get this, if they get the points deduction, they'll be done.
Yeah. Rolly, who's your three? I know you'd like to see the Skip Rats go.
I'll give you my prediction. I'll give you two predictions. One with Everton having points deducted, and one without them having points deducted. So the first one is if Everton get points deducted, the bottom three will be in no particular order: Southampton, Leicester, and Everton.
Yeah.
If they don't get points deducted, my bottom three is Southampton, Leicester, and Everton. I think they were pathetic today.
Yeah.
Manchester United weren't good. I mean, the Manchester United's second goal, was it Coleman? He's going to trap a ball and let it go under his foot. I mean, they're awful side, horrible fans. I really do want them to go down, but it's to be honest, it's too close to call at the bottom. It's
very close.
It's still really only 3 from 9, but it's Southampton are starting to get cut adrift. They're 2-0 down against Man City, which you'd expect.
Bournemouth got a huge win today away to Leicester. That's massive.
Yeah. I mean, the Bournemouth guy you got on your show just before we played them and after.
Oh, Craig, yes.
Craig, yeah, I was saying to him that I didn't think they'd go down. And they've got themselves a little bit of daylight now, a 3-point cushion. Their goal difference isn't the worst of the teams down there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're picking up wins. Not to say Grealish is playing like Almiron at the moment. Scored a goal and is causing all sorts of trouble.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it's still really tight. I mean, West Ham won. It was an own goal, and apparently they only had 2 shots in the whole game. I can't remember West Ham mates, so they were absolutely terrible. But they'll take the win. Wolves, great win against Chelsea. I don't know anything about the game, but they won. So there are a few teams that are trying to get out of it. Mm-hmm. I think that in 3 or 4 games, it'll be any 3 from about 5.
Yeah. It's tight at the bottom.
Yeah,
I think Southampton are going to go.
Yeah, they've been. Southampton's problem is that they don't score goals. I mean, I've seen some of the highlights of the first half, and they had chances. Mm-hmm. They just take too long to try and get the ball away.
Yeah. How about the lad says Isak was pushed before he appeared to even give the penalty away. I thought there was a push on Isak, mind.
I need to see it again because I've obviously seen the still, but I wasn't concentrating on the before. I was just concentrating on the contact. Again, that's the whole thing about the VAR. They just concentrate on one bit. They don't go back in the build-up. So if Isak's got pushed, that's the foul. No penalty.
Yeah. Julie says her bottom 3 are Forest, Southampton, Leicester or Everton. Yeah. Foxy said that Matoma one didn't even go to VAR. How the hell did that not go to VAR? Because that should have gone.
What?
Didn't go to VAR. So Spuds got away with it. Bia says, maintain the financial monopoly at all costs. Absolutely, Bia. Julie says,
Well, we're not going to be able to do that.
Spuds are members of the cartel, can't even play as good as other teams in the cartel, and the biggest voice, Levy, was against the takeover. He was, and then he had the cheek to go to PIF and Amanda and say, well, come and take Spurs over instead, and they told him where to go because they didn't want to take the debt on. And Levy isn't even the owner of Spurs. Joe Lewis owns Spurs, not Daniel Levy. He's just a figurehead and a massive bellend as well. Howie the lad says that Sardi is a good player for them, wasn't he? He was, but he tried to go down everywhere. Every time Botman was near him, he went down to try and get either Botman a second yellow card or to try and win free kicks, and it was just embarrassing. BS says, luckily for us, Tony, our bet and 2.5 time. Julie says, I do like Son as a player. Harry Kane exposed himself midweek as a diving cheat. Yeah, I mean, that was disgusting what he done on Monday night. Howie the lad says, I think Forest are doomed. Alan says, Forest got a terror on the games. I think they may go. Do you know what? You may be right. Paul says, Southampton, Leicester and Forest. Joe says, Southampton, Leicester and Everton to go down.
3-0 Man City.
3-0. Foxy says you have to see on current form Southampton, Leicester, Forest. Forest gone downhill this last month. Hope they would stay up. Yeah, I think it's going to be hard.
The thing with the last few games that they've lost has been away from home, and their pants away from home. It's when they get back to the City ground, it's where they'll get their points.
But they should have beat Wolverhampton Wanderers, shouldn't they?
Yeah.
Howie the lad says Coleman wouldn't even get in Tranmere's team. Seamus Coleman says Forest don't score enough. Sefton says, remember 9 or 10 games to go. I still think Leicester, Southampton and Forest. Foxy says a 1 year injured is a huge miss. Dennis has done nothing since leaving Watford. No, he hasn't. Gary says 2-0 to City as it stands with 3-0. Holland just scored an overhead kick for his 30th Premier League goal. A season mental, isn't it, says Liam. Yeah, absolutely. Holland is a beast. 30 Premier League goals so far, says Paul. And Ashton says Chelsea losing to Wolves is very satisfying. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna bring up the Premier League table. So just bear with me, and I'll bring this up now. And let's have a look. Right. Del Boy. Evening, gents, and all the legends in the chat. Good evening, Del Boy. Hope you're well, mate. And Del Boy, get your team to go out there and smash Liverpool tomorrow, please. Thank you very much.
Yeah. We want that Del Boy. Do us a favour. Not just me, but do Sefton, sexy Mag, a favour.
See the reaction on Klopp's face.
Yeah.
Oh, not
Yeah,
Klopp.
says Big Frank's management boss. He's an awful manager. Oh. He is, absolutely. So I'm gonna bring up the Premier League table as it stands now. It's live at the moment because obviously there's a game going on at the moment. So here is the table. So there we are. We're sitting back in third place. Goal difference of plus 27.
Can we end the season now? Can we end the season now?
Well, our goal difference over Man U is plus 20 over Man United and plus 14 over Spuds. But now you look further down, Liverpool are now 13 points adrift of the Champions League. They lose tomorrow. Well, I don't even consider Liverpool getting in the top four now, but even if they lose tomorrow, there is no hope in hell's chance they're getting in that top four. Liverpool, absolutely not. They'll be lucky to even finish in the top 7.
I think it's very unlikely that both ourselves and Manchester United will drop 13 points in the 9 games we've got, so that Liverpool can catch us. You know,
I'm scared. You know what? I'm scared of heights. I don't like heights, but you know, I keep struggling that it's a long way down to Chelsea, isn't it? You like that one, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
See, there's Chelsea. They're 17 points ahead. 17 points behind us now.
Mhm.
And that's just. I mean, Wolves are closing the gap on them. They're 12th on 31.
I think Wolves
It's
are
just,
pretty almost safe now.
I
think
would say so.
another
Yeah.
6 or 7 points will probably do them. Because
Go.
Another winning a draw gets them safe. I think 35 points keeps you up this season.
Go back for Southampton.
Oh, they got a goal back.
Yeah,
Is that a penalty? Yes, penalty to Man City.
Oh, so they could make it 4-1.
They could make it 4-1. Could. They've got to score it, though. You look at the bottom of the table there. Yeah, Forest in there on goal difference. But, I mean, it's tight down there, isn't it?
There's a little bit of... There are a few clubs that are starting to pull away a little bit. You're looking at your Bournemouth, Palace. Palace are right in it. West Ham starting to... We've got a little bit of gap between themselves and the bottom three. Even Leeds have got a little bit of a gap.
Haaland looks miffed. He's on the bench now, and he's thinking, "Oh God, I could have took that penalty." Looks like Julian Alvarez is going to take the penalty. But West Ham got that big win today against Fulham. I mean, Moyes was probably told you it's a must-win game against Fulham, so he got it, didn't he? So it's obviously kept him in the job for a bit longer now. But it's very tight down there. But if Everton got a 10-point deduction now, that's game over for them. Alvarez has scored and it's 4-1. So Man City have marching on to a 4-1 win with 15 minutes left, so they could make it 5-6, even 7-0 Man City. But yeah, I mean, you look at the top of the table there. I mean, it's just so. It's nice to see that gap between us and Spurs. I mean, the thing is, I think both us and Man United have both got our games in hand with Brighton. So if we beat them, Brighton, that Spurs will be totally out the race. Plus, both of us again, us and Man United have got to both play Spurs as well. So, we win our games in hand. We beat Spurs. There's no way Spurs are getting top 4 this season. I mean, what do you make of that table, Pete?
It's just amazing to see where we are.
Yeah.
Isn't
in
it?
such a short space of time to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely fantastic, isn't it? To see that we're up there, and it's...
I'm not sure if Pete's old enough to remember the times when we were always up there in the Keegan era.
I was alive then. I remember those.
I don't know how. I know you're a fair bit younger than me and Tony, but we remember those days clearly when we were challenging for titles. Those days are just around the corner.
Liam says, I just love seeing our goal difference and the plus not minus. Beautiful to see, absolutely.
Yeah.
Del Boy says, I'm praying for a win, guys. I'm sure you should beat Liverpool. Foxy says, Emery has to be in the conversation for manager of the year. 17th to 7th, similar to Howe last season. Yeah, but Howe didn't get it. Klopp got it. I don't know how. Villa 6th, says Foxy, yeah. Klopp will be chewing on a carrot tomorrow on the dugout, says Lee. Joe Linton says 3-1. Alan says, imagine if not had 11 draws. Yeah, absolutely, Alan. Yeah. Joe says, I think the table will be the same at the end of the season with Liverpool and Chelsea missing out on European football. That would be absolutely hilarious, wouldn't it?
Chelsea in particular.
Oh, God, yeah. I'm trying to see the meltdown from the players. That's what I'm looking forward to. Julie says, Grealish is on fire at the moment. Yes, he is.
He's playing like Almiron.
Yeah. Joe Linton says, Fulham are falling off. Yes, they are, absolutely. If West Ham lost Moyes, would have been out, says Julie. I think he would have been. It would have been curtains for him, that's for sure. Joe Linton, you were awesome today, says Coffee. Foxy says, Man United Cup game finished off Fulham season. Mitro out for quite a few more games. Yeah, he's got an 8-game ban.
So it's got, was it 6? No, was it 6 or 5 he's got left to serve?
Yeah, 6, I think. Villa's overrated, says Bia.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Coffee says, I'm guessing Ten Hog will win Manager of the Year award through biasness. Yeah, exactly. Grealish is playing like Almiron, says Julie. She agrees with you, Rolly. Liam says, I'd love to know what Eddie said to the players at half time. I would imagine he wasn't very bloody happy, that's for sure. I'm sure he got the players and
we were poor in the first half.
Yeah, I think that's why he made those changes to make sure that we came out in the second half and really took the game to them, you know, so that's the thing. The Popple Max, hi all, that was a great comeback, moment of the season, great result. Absolutely, too right it was. And, you know, what an absolute brilliant second half. And it's just credit to Eddie Howe, how good he is as a manager to make that change, but not only make that double change, but to even change the formation. You know, that's how a manager earns his money. That's the sign of a great manager. And that's what Eddie Howe is, a great manager. And great to see you on the channel, mate. And if you are new, please hit that subscribe. It's free to do so. And also hit the like as well. That'll be great. Thank you very much indeed. But yeah, you're absolutely spot on with what you said. Paul says, yeah, Villa last 6 wins have all been against teams in the bottom half. Yeah, definitely. Coffee says, I actually feel a bit more relief with our squad depth. Yeah, absolutely. And just think, Champions League football will strengthen that squad in the summer. Liam says, worst half of football I've seen this season from us. I've got to agree. I was just absolutely gobsmacked how bad we were playing. Coffee says, with the cells on, did we go 5 at the back? I think we did. We just tightened up a bit just to see the game out. Joe says, we are playing amazing. We're only going to get better. More wins, less draws, absolutely. Yeah. Or was one of our 4 not performing? No, nobody came off from the defence. He took Isak off. And obviously Gordon came off as well. So, yeah, just to tighten things up. Tanji says, sent another video of that yet. Another penalty Brighton should have had today. I'll have a look, Tanji. Let's have a look. Right, 1 minute. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Shirt pull on dunk. That reminds me of Longstaff at Wolverhampton Wanderers. I'm going to share this one, let you see it. So, you see the shirt pull there?
Yep.
You play it again, Tony.
How's he got to win that? Like,
there you go. Yep.
It's a clear shirt pull from.
He's got both hands on his shirt
See it,
pulling
Rory?
it back. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hands.
Look.
It's like he's at school and he's playing horses with him.
Oh my God. Absolutely embarrassing, isn't it? It's just disgusting. Liam says 2 pens and an offside goal conceded is horrendous. They could have had 4 or 5 in the first half. We didn't get in their box. Absolutely, they could have had that game wrapped up at half time, Liam. But thankfully, we only went in 1-0 down. But the thing is, we came back and we got the win, which was more important. The Popple Max says, it's rare to see Eddie make a half-time change, but that shows how good a manager he is. Absolutely. Definitely, mate. Alan says, I think the formation change was key. We're getting Boston midfield first half. Yeah, we were. Totally agree. Liam says, anyone know why Trippier was going mad at the players and shouting over to Eddie for some, same as Gordon? Do you think he was pissed off to be subbed? I mean, I don't know what was going on with Trippier because apparently he was talking to substitutes and then he was trying to get a message to Eddie Howe. I don't know what Trippier was saying. I don't know. I guess he was probably just wanting us to be a bit more tighter and didn't want to give the ball away too much to Brentford. Julie says, begin to dislike Spurs. They're embarrassing. Yeah. Spurs are an awful team, says Coffee. Yeah, well, we've got them in a couple of weeks' time. Let's hope we smash them. I still think Kane's overrated, says Coffee.
I think he is.
Lee says, best record this season, being beaten 3 times, best defence in the league. Absolutely, Lee. Absolutely. And Pope is 1 clean sheet ahead of Aaron Ramsdale, which means Pope will get Golden Glove at the end of the season. So, that's absolutely fantastic. The Portal Mike says, looking forward to match of the day tonight. So much controversy in today. Various matches. Is VAR to blame or the refs? The problem is, it's down to the people operating VAR. VAR isn't the problem. It's the people who operate it. They're the problem. And I tell you what, I think they better put match of the day on for about 2 hours or 2.5 hours tonight because I think it's going to take that long to get through all these decisions that's gone today. Yeah. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's going to be interesting to watch. I always record it anyway, so I'll it's going to be very interesting.
Dermot Gallagher's going to have his work cut out on Ref Watch on Sky Sports.
Just that made.
They might as well give me a 2-hour show.
Yeah. So what we're going to do, Tanji says, Harry Maguire was also a bit lucky not to give away a penalty against Everton. Sent you the video of that as well, Tony. Thanks very much, Tanji. I will have a look. We're going to do player rating, so we're going to have a look, and you can have your say in the chat on what you think the players were rated today. Just before I go to that, I've got a few more comments there. Maguire was playing rugby, says Tanji. Alan says, I disagree. I think Kane is very good. You don't beat Shearer's record just for being good. Fair point. Sefton says, I'm free to stay in all. I'm off without all. That's my treat, but no chips and mustard. Indian meal. How are the lads? He's going for an Indian's there, Pete.
Oh,
He's taking Mrs. Sefton out. That's to butter her up, so when Liverpool lose tomorrow, it won't be so bad, will it? Liam says, it's the officials in general need some refs from abroad to come in and mix things up. Absolutely. Lee says, VAR should be sorted out for next season. Let's hope it does.
Yeah.
Coffee says, McTominay scored for Man U, but I don't think their fans would appreciate him for it, lol. Yeah.
Now, I've got a theory on McTominay because he was poor against us. Now, I'm thinking he played well for Scotland, scored 2 goals. Then he played against us and he's thinking, if I play well and Man U beat us, will that scupper a move to Newcastle? Because I want to play for Eddie and the Mags. So I'll play badly against them. And then I'll play, when we play our next games, I'll play really well. So
who knows? Max says, curry up to Sefton. Alan says, just think he's a bit old for us for what he cost. Yeah, absolutely. Paul says, for a team that never used to win in London, we have now not lost a league game this season in London. Yeah, that's a great stat.
Because it used to be, the headlines in the papers always used to be about us in London's capital punishment.
Yeah,
we're dealing out the capital punishment.
Foxy says, can you say Liverpool get the result versus Arsenal? Arsenal always struggle at Anfield. Different Arsenal this season, though. So I think all in all, I think Arsenal will win against Liverpool. Mason says, evening, everyone. Good evening, Mason. Hope you're well. Liam says, 3 games played, 3 wins, 9 goals, 2 conceded. What a week. Absolutely, what a week.
Yeah.
Right, this is your turn. You can play along in the chat as well. So, player ratings. I'm going to go to you first, Pete. And I'm going to give you Nick Pope.
Nick Pope pulled off some really good saves, I thought. Kept us in the game as well. I mean, look at the way he saved the penalty from Tony because it was weak as anything. So, yeah. And he did pull off some other great saves after that. Nick Pope, 9.
Yeah,
9. Yeah, I think so as well. I agree with that one. I think he he did really well. Just quickly nipping some comments. Bia says Arsenal will easily win against Klopp's flops. Portman Major says Gordon needs game time with his team, but he looks very good. Yes, he does, absolutely. Alan says those days are over, not winning in London. Absolutely. Liam says 8 for Pope.
We've not lost a game in London this season.
No. 8 for Pope from Ian, 10 from Bia, 3-1 Arsenal win, says Lee. 9 for Pope, man the match, says Coffee. Mason says, unfortunate the South Seal game, so I couldn't see the game, but I'm pleased we win. Yeah, you'll have to catch it up on the highlights, Mason, on Match of the Day. Pope 9, says Lee. Right, Rolly. So the next player that's coming your way is Mr. Kieran Trippier, the captain.
So, thought he wasn't bad today. His delivery from set pieces was a bit hit and miss. Thought he defended well in general. I'm going to give him an 8.
An 8. That's fair enough. Yeah, an 8 for Kieran Trippier. So comes to me, and I'll take Fabian Schär. Fabian Schär, I thought he wasn't too bad. Tried to attack when we were up there. Went down for a penalty, I think. He wasn't hardly touched. But he didn't really do much wrong, Fabian Schär. I'm going to give him an 8. I think that's fair enough. Right, people, come to you. And you're getting Mr. Rolls Royce, Sven Botman.
Give away the penalty, didn't he?
Yep.
I thought, give away the penalty, I thought today. But I thought he recovered as well after that. At times I thought so, yeah. I'm going to give him a 7, just because he gave away the penalty.
A 7? That's fair enough. I'm just going to...
I thought... Because he recovered so well in the second half and after giving away the penalty, if he hadn't given away the penalty, he's looking at an 8.
Yeah.
The penalty just,
Lee says Portman 9. BS says Trips an 8. Liam's going for a 7 for Trippier. Coffee says Trippier for 8, captain and leader. Are these marks for the second half, says Alan. Well, could be, couldn't it? Because I mean, it was just like we just played one half, didn't we? Trips and 8, says Lee. Share 7, says Coffee. 7 from Liam as well. Portman Major says there is there a goalkeeper award at the end of the season? Pope number 1 for sure. The race for the Golden Glove for the most clean sheets, and Pope is ahead in that by 1 clean sheet at the moment. So, yeah. Lee says Schär an 8. Liam says 6 for Schär. Or Botman maybe. Botman 7, says Coffee. Botman a 7. Foxy says, Schär kept a solid 8. Botman a 5, giving away the goals for us lately. Forest, West Ham and Penn today. It's fair enough. Coffee says, would have been awesome to see Botman challenge Fernandes like that and Fernandes not getting a penalty for it. Liam says, can I just Isak's goal was unreal, and if Kevin De Bruyne or Haaland had scored that, it would be goal of the season. Yeah, they would be raving about it, wouldn't they? So, right, Rolly, we're coming back to you, and you're getting the left back, Big Dan Byrne.
I think it was better than it was against West Ham, though he didn't have the pace attacking him. Did a reasonable job, tried to get forward. Remember rightly, he got himself in a position to get a shot away, which he didn't do particularly well, but he got there. I'm trying to decide between a 6 or a 7. I'm going to be generous because we won and give him a 7.
7, that's fair enough. Okay. So we move to the midfield 3 now. And I've got Mr. Bruno in the middle. Well, I thought Bruno had the first half he was trying to get things moving. Second half he was more influential. He was getting into tackles. I thought he did quite well. He had a shot which went over the bar, but he took the game by the scruff of the neck in the second half. Bruno did, and I was quite impressed with his second half performance, as I was with the whole team, to be fair. But for the way he played, the way he tried to break up play, get play going forward, I'm giving Bruno a 9. I know that's probably been nice, but I think Bruno deserves a 9 because I thought he was absolutely terrific in that midfield. He was a tiger in that midfield. Do you agree with that one, Pete?
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, I actually would.
A bit generous, but yeah, he particularly in the second half, he was superb. First half, he was probably our better, best player again.
Yeah.
Trying to break stuff up and trying to get drivers forward. So, yeah, you can argue a 9. I probably would have given an 8, but
Purple marks, that Botman Char. I like coffee, burn a 6. Kelly Lee says burn a 7, yeah. Coffee says, I didn't see the first half. All right, okay. Foxy says a 6 for Burn. Bruno Nate says Lee. Coffee says Bruno 6 was constantly under pressure and Brentford were piling in on him when he had the ball. I think 6
that's
is
very
harsh.
harsh. Yeah, it's very harsh.
And he says Bruno 6 in the first half, but 9 in the second. Okay, that's not bad at all. Right, Pete. So we come back. We come to you now, Pete. And you know who I'm going to give you, don't you?
I think so. Yeah.
Sean Longstaff.
Unfortunately, he was non-existent today, which was a disappointment. Possibly he was quite tired today because he started 3 games in a row in the space of a few days, hasn't he? So 4 for Longstaff.
A 4 for Longstaff.
I think you're being a bit harsh there, Pete. But I know it did come off just after half time, but it's almost singling him out because nobody was particularly good in the first half.
Well, no, but
and he wasn't the worst. He wasn't the worst of them in the first half. But
non-existent.
I would have given a 5 because it came off at half time. It was a little harsh.
Yeah.
Well.
Hey, it's all about opinions at the end of the day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Before I come to you, Rolly, Alan says midfield second half 8-all. Coffee says I didn't see Longstaff to play, so I give him a 5. Longstaff a 6, says Lee. That's generous. Right, Rolly. So I give you Joe Willock.
Again, this match is difficult to rate because there's such a difference between the first and second halves. I thought he worked hard in the first half without actually doing much, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a lot better in the second half, but still not up to. I don't think it's as good as it was like when it came on against West Ham and against Manchester United. So I'm going to give him a 7.
7. That's fair enough. Yeah, that's fair enough, Rolly. Coffee says Willock a 6. Right, so we come into the front 3 now. Well, so who am I taking first up on the front 3? Jacob Murphy. Right. Jacob Murphy didn't do an awful lot in that first half for me. Again, he had a couple. He got the ball a few times, but to me, pretty average. Maybe tiredness. So for me, I'll give him a 5. think that's fair enough.
I think that's reasonable, especially with it being subbed at half time. It's quite hard because nobody covered themselves in glory apart from Nick Pope first half. So it almost feels like picking on them.
Strikers 8, second half, says Alan. Lee says Willock a 6. Portal Mag says, I fear for Longstaff. He's been amazing, but under pressure being dropped for money buys. Lee says Willock is 7. John Southam, evening lads, great result today. Hopefully keep it going. How are you, the lads? Absolutely, John. And let's hope we do. Don't know if you're brand new at the channel, but if you are, mate, if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe, that would be great. Thank you very much. And the like. I like Coffee says Mafinho, I want to give a 10, but I didn't watch him play today, so I will give a 5. Yeah, absolutely. Murphy is 6, says Lee, and 5 from Alan for Murphy. So, yeah. Right, so we come back to Pete now. And so, Pete, the player I'm giving you now is Alexander Isak.
Hey!
We both wanted him.
Yay. What can you say? What a goal today. It was absolutely brilliant. That could go down as goal of the month for April as well. And the way, what I liked about that, he just shot that first time as well, didn't he? Which was just absolutely amazing, wasn't it? This lad's going to get double figures before the end of the season. He really, really is. Definitely.
He's going to get double figures before the end of April.
Well, yeah, it could well do. I'm going to say a 9 for Isak because of his goal. And that's
Coffee's going 10.
Oh.
Isak the same, 6 first half, 9 the second. Right, Rolly. So, got another comment there. Lee says Isak a 10. Right, Rolly. So we complete the final 11, the starting 11, and you take the big man himself, and that is J7.
Again, the battling performance in the first half. He came alive a bit more in the second and got us back into the game. It's going to go down as an own goal. But his drive and to get in, it was great. So I'm giving Joel Linton a 9.
A 9. Yep, that's fair enough. But that goal of 10 for Isak 10 outstanding, says Lee. Yeah, absolutely. Right. So we had substitutes come on in the second half, at the start of the second half. So we had Callum Wilson and Anthony Gordon. So I will take Callum Wilson. For me, I thought Callum Wilson, not a bad second. He's done all right. The 45 minutes he came on, he had an assist for Isak's goal. Should have had a goal. The goal should have stood for him as well. That goal that he scored was a perfectly good goal, choked off for a supposed handball, which I'm still a bit miffed at, and I still don't think it was. But I thought he put himself about in that second half. So for me, I'm going to give Wilson an 8, which I think is fair enough for that second half. Coffee says Isak's technique and finish was delicious, like fine dining at an Italian restaurant. Tanji says 13 appearances, 9 starts, 8 goals. Isak, absolutely. Joe Linton at 10 says Coffee. Big Joe 9 says Lee. Habin Jabia says Joe at 10. Yeah. If you're new to the channel, mate, please hit the subscribe and the like. Thank you. Wilson at 10 says Coffee. 8 for Wilson says Lee. Yeah. And 10 for Wilson from Haben as well. And Wilson a 9 from Lee. Okay. So, as I say, we had 2 substitutes come on at the start of the second half. So the next man I'm giving you is this man, Anthony Gordon, Pete.
Well, changed the game when he come on, I thought. Did give away a lot of free kicks, I thought. But I think this lad's pushing for a start pretty much soon. Oh, there you are. Flash Gordon. I'm going to say an 8 for Gordon.
An 8 for Gordon. Yeah, that's fair enough. Mind, the introduction I should have given you for him really was this speech, shouldn't I? Well, I should have given you, but yeah, that's a fair enough. That's a fair enough comment. And we did make some of our substitutions. 87 minutes, we saw Lascelles come on, we saw Elliot Anderson come on, and then right in the last minute we saw Matt Ritchie come on. I'm not going to give a marking for Matt Ritchie because he literally was on he didn't even touch the ball. Lascelles and Anderson, it's not worth giving them any marks because we're only on for a few minutes, so they'll just get a standard 5 as normal. So I'm going to come to Rowley now. And I'm going to give you, Rowley, Eddie Howe.
Oh, it's got to be 10 out of 10. After the performance in the first half, to get it sorted at half-time, make all the right substitutions, to come out with the 3 points, it's got to be a 10. That's what you pay your manager to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's how a manager earns his corn, as they say. So, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to take the fans. Again, thought the fans were terrific all the way through the game. Sang their hearts out, even though we were losing, they still sang. But our fans were terrific as normal, so I always give them a 10. A 10. Right, Pete.
God,
for you,
oh no!
I'm going to give you Mr. Chris Kavanagh, the referee.
Oh God, just absolute dog shit today. I mean, the manager from Greater Manchester as well. Nah, I mean, I'm sorry, but that's not a penalty for the one on Wilson. It's not a penalty at all. And I just didn't think he was that terrific throughout the rest of the game. I thought 3.
Oh, you surprised me. You're being generous.
You are being generous, Pete.
You could say. It's because he tried to do it. Probably because he tried to ruin the game, but he didn't. He didn't follow his up. But
yeah, right. Let's get into some comments because. Habin says Gordon and 9, he changed the game with Wilson. Absolutely. If you're new at the channel, please hit that subscribe. Thank you. Lee says Gordon and 8. Coffee says Gordon and 9. What a great recovery and tackle to cover from Trippier, who lost the ball. His speed is crazy. Well, it was Gordon who lost the ball, and then he had to recover that and help Trippier out with that tackle. I mean, he got back. He showed his pace. That's why he's the second quickest player in the Premier League. Manager at 10 says Alan. Absolutely. Gaffer at 10 says Haben. Ian says, hi, Tony, Pete, Rowley. We'll have to watch on catch up as being celebrating Celtic and the 2 winning. Just come on, lol. Yeah, Celtic got a great win against Rangers 3-2. Coffee says, I saw one Newcastle fan preparing Easter egg in the shape of Eddie Howe and called it Eggy Howe.
wow!
I love it. Love it. Coffee says, Howe at 10. Yeah, absolutely. Fans at 10 says Haben. Lee says Eddie 10, outstanding service second half, absolutely. Coffee says referee minus 50. Fans brilliant 10, yeah, absolutely. Ref donkey shit says Lee 2. I think that's probably about right for the referee as well. Yeah, brilliant. So we're coming to the end of the show now, guys, and we've been on an hour and a half. And so as normal, I always come round ask for the people's socials. So Coffee says 10 out of 10 for the fans. Rolly, do you want to let people know where they can find you on your socials?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Paul67.
Thank you very much, and thank you for coming on tonight, Rolly.
You're welcome.
Pete, do you want to let everybody know where they can find you on your socials, and more importantly, what you got coming up as well?
Yeah, so you can find me on my channel, PD Proudlog, and I've decided I'll be going live again at 8:30 for the match review of the player ratings. If any of you want to join me, feel free to do so. And yeah, and also follow me on my social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, all PD Proudlog as well.
Lovely, thank you. Coffee says he sent you a DM, Pete.
Oh, I'll have to look.
Yeah, so for me, you can find me on TonyTony31 on Twitter. Follow me and I'll follow you back. Also, the same handle on Twitch. Also, if you like what you see, then please smash the like. It really does help the channel up the search results, so smash those likes. If you haven't done it yet, then do it on your way out. Also, if you're brand new at the channel, then feel free to subscribe. It's free to do so, helps the channel grow, and that bell notification tells you when I'm live, have a pre-record, or any upcoming shows. And I'm on the way to 500 subscribers, so it'll be great to hit the 500 subs. Thank you very much indeed. Lee says, brilliant lads, away show, getting better and stronger all the time. Thank you very much indeed, Lee. And Pete's just shared something, so I'm going to bring it on screen now.
Look
This
at
is
it.
what Coffee sent him.
Eggy Howe.
Eggy Howe. Oh, yes, I have seen that. Sorry, yes, I have, because it's a little boy made it. And yes, because I did comment on the picture, I think.
I saw that, but didn't realise what it was.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? And brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. That is so good. And you know, what an invention for the little boy to make that as well, you know. I mean, great stuff. Absolutely brilliant, that. Yeah. Go through some last comments before we come out. Habbins says, great show. Subscribe and like the channel. Thank you very much indeed. And Lee says, brilliant show, lads. Always getting better and stronger all the time. Thank you very much indeed for that. So yeah, Guy, and Coffee says, bye, Tony PD and Rolly and all. Bye-bye to you as well.
Bye.
But yeah, on what's been a great day again for Newcastle. 3 wins in 6 days, you know. 3 tough games, as we could say. But, you know, but again, we got the 3 wins. Tough game today. We dug it out. We got the win. 3 points. We're back to third, back above Man United. So on 56 points, going strong. And, you know, the only way is up, as Yazoo and the Plastic Population once sang. And that is the only way it is up at the moment. And they've now got a nice rest for a full week now. So, yeah, onwards and upwards. But until then, it's goodbye from me. It's a bye from us all, and we'll see you on the next show. Thank you very much for joining. Bye-bye for now.
Cheers.